bracelets, and I received a bunch of them being there, but I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it. Not right now.
Ooh.
Well, I was disappointed that she doesn't talk.
The press conference room at Arrowhead Stadium is usually a temple of the tangible. It's a place of cliches and tactical breakdowns. Where victories are dissected into play calls and losses are buried under promises of. Looking at the tape, the air is typically thick with the scent of sweat, disinfectant, and professional pragmatism. But on this biting November night, the atmosphere was different. It was charged with a rare and palpable electricity, an emotion that stats and schematics couldn't possibly contain. Travis Kelce, still in his grass-stained jersey, sat before a forest of microphones, the grime of a 60-minute war still etched on his skin. Yet, the hardened, focused exterior of the elite athlete had completely dissolved, replaced by a softness that captivated the room before he even spoke a word. He had just finished mechanically describing the crucial fourth-quarter play, a seam route on a 3rd and 8 where he had to stretch every sinew, contorting his body midair to haul in a pass that seemed destined for the turf. The reporters, pads poised, expected to hear about reading the cover 2 hole, about the footwork to create separation, about the quarterback's trust. They were ready to transcribe the standard lexicon of post-game analysis. Instead, they were met with a profound and startling vulnerability that hushed the usual rustle of notepads. "You look for that moment of confirmation, you know?" he began, his voice quieter, more resonant than his usual booming cadence. His gaze was fixed on a point far beyond the fluorescent lights and drywall of the room, as if he were watching the memory play out on a private screen. When the world is just noise and pressure, 70,000 people screaming, the play clock dying, a 260-pound linebacker bearing down on you, you look for your anchor. I turned around after that catch, my ears ringing and my eyes. They didn't scan the crowd. They didn't look at the sideline. They went straight to her, straight to Tay. The room, already quiet, fell into a deep, reverent silence, punctuated only by the frantic whir of camera shutters capturing every flicker of raw feeling on his face. This was more than a gracious shout-out. This was a window into a sanctuary, a glimpse of the private world that fuels a very public MA and .to understand the weight of that moment in the press room. You have to rewind to the tense final 2 minutes of the game. The Chiefs were trailing, the Colts defense had found a rhythm, and a palpable anxiety had seeped into the stands. The broadcast cameras, as they had all game, periodically panned to the VIP box where Taylor Swift sat alongside her mother, Andrea, and Travis's mother, Donna. They showed her cheering, her hands clenched, offering a bright smile after a positive play. But what the television audience didn't see was the intimate, silent exchange that occurred during a timeout. As the Chiefs' offense huddled, trying to draw up a miracle, Travis Kelce, his helmet in his hands, his chest heaving, instinctively looked up. His eyes found Taylor's across the chaotic expanse of the stadium. She wasn't cheering. She wasn't nervous. She was perfectly still, her gaze locked on him. Then, slowly and deliberately, she placed her hand flat over her heart, holding it there. It was a simple, silent gesture, but in the high-stakes cacophony of a dying clock, it was a lighthouse beam. And in that last drive, when everything was on the line, he continued in the press room, a slow, disbelieving smile spreading across his face, erasing the last traces of the game day scowl. I looked up and I saw her. She had her hand over her heart, just looking right at me. I can't even explain what that does. It's like all the doubt, all the fatigue, it just vanishes. You're not just playing for a win anymore. You're playing for that look. You're playing for that person. He paused, collecting himself, the weight of the moment evident in the way he swallowed hard and looked down at his hands, now free of their tape and gloves. The silence in the room was no longer just journalistic patience. It was shared witness. But in a quiet, steadfast love watching from the stands. It was a love that offered a silent promise of peace amid the chaos, a promise that there was a world beyond the field where wins and losses didn't define him. And on that cold November night, that love became the most compelling, most human story on the field. A story not of a game won, but of a man truly, completely, and vulnerably seen.